Ever imagine your team working together like, a perfectly synchronized soccer club, like winning championships and stuff? That level of passing and strategy, and everyone's got each other's back. Well, today we're kind of stealing their playbook.
Or at least the coach's version. Yeah.
Exactly. We've got this article. It's by Torben Burer, and it goes deep on how these elite soccer coaches think like Arne Slot, Fabian Hurzeler, Hansi Flick, how they lead.
And the cool part is it's not just sports stuff. It's stuff you and I, anyone really, can use in a high-pressure job.
Totally. So no more boring leadership advice. We're going straight to the pros. First up, Arne Slot. This guy's a mastermind behind Liverpool's success, and he's all about what he calls, get this, holistic readiness.
Sounds kind of fancy, but it makes sense, right? You wouldn't throw an athlete out there without sleep, good food, mental game. Slot takes that same idea to everything his team does.
And it works. But here's where it gets interesting. He's really big on players sticking to their own routines, like even letting them sleep in their own beds before a home game.
It's recognizing that what makes me perform my best might totally mess you up.
So like ditch the one-size-fits-all office wellness program.
Exactly. What if companies were like, we trust you to know what you need and we'll support that? That's powerful.
Instead of those cheesy team-building exercises, it's like actual support.
Totally. Now, another thing Slot does is use video for feedback. Not to embarrass anyone, but like concrete evidence, right? Yeah. Makes things more objective.
So instead of just saying your communication's bad, you can show them here in this meeting.
Imagine that at work. Dashboards showing your progress, your strengths, where you need to improve.
Takes the guesswork out of it. Okay, on to our next coach. Fabian Hurzeler. He's with Brighton and Hove Albion. This guy, he gets teamwork on a whole other level.
He's really big on empowering his assistants. Like, even during his own suspension, he let them coach. Leading by example, right?
That's wild. And it works. There was this game, his assistant made this risky call, and boom, last-minute victory.
Shows you the power of trusting your team, right? That shared leadership. You can't fake that.
It's like saying, we're in this together, I trust your judgment, not just barking orders.
Exactly. Creates a culture where everyone's voice matters, Everyone can contribute.
Okay, so we're seeing a theme here. Trust, empowerment. But before we get too comfy, let's talk about Hansi Flick. He had a rough time at Barcelona, but man, his leadership style, full of lessons.
He inherited a tough situation, limited budget, young team.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, but he made it work.
He created this structure, clear direction, but also room for flexibility, for creativity.
Here's the plan, now go be awesome kind of thing.
And it worked. There was this one player struggling, but with this new freedom, he became a star.
So sometimes limitations, if you handle them right.
They can breed innovation.
Exactly. But through it all, Flick never forgot about communication. Everyone knew the vision, the goals, their role.
Like a well-oiled machine, everyone working together.
All right, 3 incredible coaches, 3 different styles, but there's this common thread.
And that thread, my friend, is trust.
We've talked about, like, tailoring things to your people, right? That shared leadership, not just bossing everyone around. And yeah, you're totally right. The glue that holds it all together, it's trust.
It's like that feeling of, I can speak my mind here, try new things, even mess up, and it's not going to be a disaster.
Because when you trust your team, you're not scared to let them run a bit, right? Experiment, maybe stumble, but that's how you learn.
Imagine that young player we talked about with Flick, if he'd been afraid to try.
No way. He would have played it safe, never reached his potential, right?
Yeah.
So trust is the base, but how do these coaches build that? It's got to be more than just like empty encouragement, right?
Definitely not. It's showing them, not just telling them. Being real,
Yeah.
admitting you don't have all the answers sometimes.
And being open to their ideas, even the rookie on the team, right? It's leading by example, not just words. Okay, so let's bring this all home. Personalized prep, shared leadership, making the most of what you've got. And that trust, that's the secret ingredient.
And the best part is, this isn't just soccer, right? Any team, any job, this stuff works.
You're leading a project at work, trying to get your family organized, same principles apply.
It's that shift from, it's my way to, how do we do this together?
And it starts with that question, right? How do I make sure everyone feels valued, trusted, ready to do their best?
Because when you get that right, the stuff you can achieve, it's amazing.
So we've covered a ton, but it really comes down to what kind of leader do you want to be? The one always looking over everyone's shoulder, or the one who builds a team that just kills it?
Right, because nobody likes to be micromanaged, right? People do their best work when they've got some freedom, some ownership over what they're doing.
It's that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far.
Go together.
Yeah.
And to build something really cool, you need that trust, that teamwork.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into, what makes those winning teams tick, let's think about what hit home for you. Was it Slot's thing about letting people work how they work best?
Or Hurzeler letting go of the reins, trusting his people.
Or maybe it's Flick turning those limitations into, like, a creativity boost.
Whatever it was, the real test is taking it from the soccer field to your own world.
Exactly. So here's your challenge. Pick one thing we talked about today, just one, and try it out this week. Doesn't have to be huge.
Maybe it's a quick chat with your team about how they like to work best. Or try a new brainstorming thing, more collaborative.
Small changes can make a big difference, right? And hey, we want to hear about it. What worked, what didn't, those aha moments. Because we're all learning here, and your experience might spark the next deep dive.